So what have you been up to
Do you want it to
lately?
be where you can see everybody?
Yeah, well, I guess so. Not much. My daughter's here helping me. Where's
Well,
your
good.
daughter?
Well, my daughter's here someplace.
Where's
She's
your
helping
daughter?
me. She's here. She set me up.
Yeah, my daughter helped me. Yeah, my daughter sets me up. I told her she can leave once it's going. She's waving at you. To see
I'm
her.
waving back at her.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, two retired school teachers.
How about
That's
that
me.
now? What
Yeah.
grade level did you teach?
I did elementary education, so all in there, pre-K to 5.
Okay.
Yeah, you taught high school history, didn't you?
Well, it was middle school, mostly 8th grade. I taught 8th grade history.
8th grade.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
43 years of 8th grade history. And when I got,
my.
Boy.
when, before I retired, one of the little girls in my class raised her hand and said, Miss Megenity, you really like history, don't you? And I said, yes, I do. I think I know why you like it. And I said, why? Well, you've lived through most of U.S. history.
That was cute. She probably meant it too, didn't she?
Oh.
So we're there. I guess it's a little early for everybody else, huh?
It's got about 10 minutes, so I'm assuming people will be logging in here right away.
Yeah. 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 You're looking pretty good.
I feel all right. We're doing pretty good, by gollies.
You're looking good.
I feel pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah, me too. I just had my annual physical. Hope everything comes out okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Usually does. And I feel okay. I got arthritis real bad. Yeah,
Have
that's
you
the only
really?
thing that really hurts me.
In your legs?
Every place, knees, ankles, toes,
Oh,
fingers.
God. I guess I'm lucky.
Yeah.
As far as I know, I don't have arthritis.
Well, yeah. Well, mine, a lot of it is from climbing up those steel decks on those aircraft carriers. On those ladders are all steel. The decks are all steel.
Yep.
It didn't. I had one knee replaced about 15 years ago.
How'd that work out?
Just fine. I had a really good doctor, and they put titanium in it.
Whoa.
Yeah, yeah. My knee's worth more than the rest of my
I was
body.
going to say, boy, that's don't let the wrong people know about that. Titanium's worth money.
Yes, it is. That's what they use in the space shuttles. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. So what have you been doing other than the thing with the schools?
Oh, I've been spending a lot of time at our local fire museum. We have a fire museum in Jeffersonville, and we've got old fire trucks. And our oldest fire truck is, it's a 1756 fire truck, one of the oldest fire trucks in the United States.
Yeah, you know where they have some old fire trucks is on Tangier Island off of the coast of like North Carolina or Virginia there. North
Really?
Carolina, I guess. Tangier Island. Yeah, they have some old fire trucks over there.
Do they actually use them, or are they on display, or what?
I think they're mostly on display. Last
Yeah.
I heard, anyway. That was several years ago. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're not going anywhere because it's an island.
Okay.
You have to get to a boat. Yeah. I don't know. She's handed me his. I've got all these passwords that I've written down because I can't remember them. Then I can't remember where I put them.
Oh, I understand that. Yeah.
This one.
Yeah.
You know what I mean by that?
What's this? Oh, okay. She's giving me stuff. She just came back from Virginia and visited her sister, lives up there, and
Yep.
they brought me back some stuff, and so she's giving it to me.
Now, is this
Are
your
you good to
favorite?
go?
I'm good to go.
All right. Is this your favorite
Know
daughter
what?
or the one in Virginia?
No, the one in Virginia, the one that I'm not with is the favorite daughter.
Oh,
So
okay.
it's not me right now.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah. If I'm Virginia, then so you're in.
We don't care. I'm popping this back in.
He's adjusting my hearing aid.
Oh, no. Is that better?
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, bye. I think he's good to go.
Okay, thanks.
You're welcome.
You're dismissed.
Okay. They think they're my mother now.
Oh, I understand that. Yeah.
Yeah. I can't drive worth a heck. I say stupid things.
Oh, Ron, I thought
They're trying to.
you said stupid things 50 years ago.
I know that. Why change, right? Yeah. I like it down there though. It's really nice. This is a tree of cities, or a city of trees. In 2000, the Interior Department designated different cities that were cities of. There's 5 in Georgia. Looks like you're downtown. You look like you're in a forest.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's really nice. It's really pretty. A lot of the we got 5 major teams of different sports, and most of them live in this county. And those, so we have a lot of money for infrastructure.
Do you ever go to any of those games, Ron?
Not anymore. No, I just soon watch them on television.
Sure.
Just go to the games. It's such a
Yep.
hassle to go down. You're climbing up the steps, and
Yep, you're right.
it's not cheap anymore to go to a ball
No.
game.
Not at all.
Yeah. No, that's what I pay cable for.
Sure.
So a lot of the cable I stream, I don't have to pay for it. You can
Yeah.
stream it free,
Sure. Now let's see. How many
I
years?
watch a lot of movies.
How many years did you spend in the Navy, Ron?
33.
33. Okay.
Yeah, I was a Master Chief Petty Officer. Then I got commissioned in 1976, and I retired as a commissioned warrant officer 4. When I jumped on the train, I was a seaman recruit.
Okay. Yeah. Me, I think I was too.
No, I think you were a seaman.
Maybe
You were
I
there
made it.
before I was.
Maybe I was seaman then. I know, but you never did salute me.
Yeah. Well, you weren't a commission.
I guess that was it. Yeah.
Seniorities among seamen are like seniorities among prostitutes, they say.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I remember I
What
went
I
on.
like is
Go ahead.
I was one of a chief's liberty, an admiral's pay, and a seaman's responsibility. I thought that would be an ideal situation.
Yeah.
Yeah. It just seemed like though 33 years went off fast.
I bet it did. Yeah.
Except for the year I was in Vietnam, I didn't go very fast.
I bet it didn't. Didn't go fast enough, probably.
Yeah. You remember how you used to terrorize that town sheriff we had? The constable, or the hell he was, the one around. We'd sit there at night, we'd throw those torpedoes up in the air, and he was always after us.
Sure.
He searched you one night trying to see if you had in your pocket. Oh, that poor guy. Well, that's what he gets paid for, right? Yeah.
he would say, he would
Things
tell
sure
us,
changed a lot since it's different.
he would tell us sometimes, boys, if you don't behave, I'm going to run you up on the hill. Now, you know what that meant, up to the
Yeah.
jail, which was on top of
Yeah,
the hill.
the court. Yeah, sheriff's office up there across from the courthouse. Yeah,
That's right. That's right.
yeah.
And do you
I'm
remember,
surprised we weren't up there.
do you remember the old courthouse when we were kids?
The old what?
Courthouse.
Oh, yeah, sure. Yeah,
Well, it's a beautiful building, but it didn't have,
yeah. I don't know where is it now? Do you know?
oh no,
It's
they
still up there under this.
tore that down about 1956 or 7 along in there, I think. And they built this courthouse right in its footprint, right there where the old courthouse was.
Oh, okay.
And then that courthouse, it wasn't any good. It had a flat roof, it leaked. So they built a new courthouse. And the new courthouse, built about 10 years ago, it's up on the highway, out of the flood zone. And it's a pretty nice building.
Oh, yeah. Well,
There's Jeremy.
well,
Hello,
hello
Jeremy.
there.
How's Jeremy today?
Hello, Jeremy.
Here.
There
Hello.
he is.
Hello, Jeremy.
Hello. Am I? Is it me?
Yes, sir.
All
Says
right.
Jeremy. Yes, it's Jeremy Flanigan.
You guys say so. Well, I have to report that I'm going to be the only Flanigan on this week's meeting. My
Oh,
Uncle
no.
John was just on the week. Yeah. Don't get too excited. My Uncle John was on the weekly family meeting just now, but he had indicated earlier that he's going to be a chauffeur for taking his wife Anne to
Hello, Bob.
chorus rehearsal. Where did you guys go?
We're here.
Mason.
We're
You're
here.
all my cell phone rang,
I'm
so
just-
there we go. Now I see
Yeah.
you again.
I see Vic. I see me and Vic. There's somebody. Is
There's
that Bob
Bob
Mason?
Bobby Mason. I'm here. There's Bobby.
Hey, Bob, I can't. We only see part of your head, Bob. You're gonna have to adjust yourself there.
There you go. There you
That's
go.
there you go. Yeah, actually, you want to go back down again. I think.
Now, Ron, you know who Jeremy's granddad is now, don't you? In the Flanigan family, his granddad.
It's not Mike, is it?
Yes, it is. Mike Flanigan
Yeah.
is Jeremy's granddad.
and he's not going to join us today either. So, and I'm in Sulphur right now. I'm in Crawford County. I think I'm the only one of us who's actually, well, unless Bob Roberts joins us,
Yeah.
I'll be the only one who's actually in Crawford County at the moment. So
Well, how about
can-
that?
Can you smell me, Vic?
No?
Yeah, yeah. Smell like rotten eggs.
Are
Smells like rotten eggs out there. That sulfur water.
you are you downriver from me, Vic, or upriver? I don't know.
Upriver.
It'd be upriver. It'd be upriver. Yeah.
That's right.
You're
Well-
down there near. You're down there near Alton, where the Horseshoe Bend is. Yeah.
Yep. I've seen it a couple times this past week with my own 2 eyes.
How about that?
I never get to, and actually, the first time there was no barge, and then yesterday there was a barge. That was always what we'd look for to see will there be a barge or not, and usually there
Hello,
was.
Bob. Hello, Bob Roberts.
Hello, Vic.
Yes,
How are
sir.
you?
Good, good, Bob.
He's trying to. There he is. Hello, Bob.
Hi, Ron. How are you? I'm glad.
Well,
I
I'm
put
fine.
you
Thanks
on
for
there.
asking.
I figured you enjoy it.
Yeah, Jeremy, let me ask you a question. Have you been down to the old sulfur well down over the hill from the town of Sulphur?
Now, no, that's on my list for, I'm gonna be here for a little while, so it's on my list. I mean, not since I was a kid. So that's one of the things I wanna do. And Ron mentioned Alton, and I want to go down to Alton as well.
Yeah, Bob Roberts, you've been to the old sulfur well in Sulphur, haven't you?
Oh, yeah. I drove by there for 20 years in a row. That was part of my mail route.
Okay, all right.
Well,
Jeremy would come by, I would take him around all these places.
the last time I was down,
I'm going to come by.
last time
Okay.
I was down by the old sulfur well, it was only at night, and I was in there with a young girl. I wasn't interested in that well. Like,
Oh, shoot, listen to that.
Be careful what you say.
I know, well, none of you guys know her anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Remember, this meeting is recorded.
I know it. There was nothing risque about that. We were just down there looking at the well.
Yeah. Oh, well.
Then I remember that there used to be a dance over there at Sulphur too. I only went a couple of times. It wasn't as big as like Snellville and English and Paola, you know. Used to go to Snellville on Thursday night.
That's right.
You used to get a great big platter of chicken gizzards and a half a loaf of bread for 50 cents.
Oh, my gosh.
You remember that?
Scooter or beer and you weren't old enough.
Yeah, well, they had Black Carling beers, the only beer they served then. And of course, I never drank any of it.
Right, when you were there at night with a young lady inspecting the well.
Yeah, I was interested in dancing, and I drank Coca-Cola or something like that. Yeah.
And it was big band music.
Yeah, well, yeah.
You could two-step with that and hold a girl close.
Yes,
sir.
I can't understand why anybody wants to dance fast dances. That's no fun.
That's true.
You can do that by
I'd rather
yourself.
hold one and back off 10 feet and just wiggle.
Yeah, I know.
One time, Jim Moss, we all remember
Oh,
Jim
yeah.
Moss, except Jeremy. You remember Jim Moss, don't you, Bobby?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
You know, in the English reunion, he would go home and change clothes. He would sweat out
Yeah.
dancing.
He would.
You know, I caught
Jim
him.
Moss.
I caught him. It's a good picture. I caught him for ever since he was about 8 years old until all the way through high school.
He
Well,
was fast.
He was at Snellville one night, and Arnie Vogelsong and a lot of us were there, and all of us ordered beer. So here came this German guy with I don't know, 8 or 10 beers, holding it up on a tray like that. And for some reason, Jim Moss jumped up, hit that guy's arm, and beer flew everywhere. And that guy said in broken English, he said, "That's never happened to me before." Okay, one more story about Jim. We were at the dance one night and in English, and Jim picked out this really cute girl to dance with. So he was twirling her around out on the dance floor. Vic Butt was calling. Remember Vic Butt, Bob
Oh,
Roberts,
yeah.
don't you? Yeah. And finally, some guy, I looked over and some guy grabbed Jim by the arm, pulled him around and hit him in the nose, and just blood flew, knocked Jim Moss down. And Jim jumped up, looked at me and two or three other guys standing there and said, boys, did you see me hit that guy in his fist with my nose?
Yeah. Do you remember the song that they use at English square dance? The song they always started out with the first song. Do you remember the name of that?
Nope.
The Sheik of Araby.
Sheik of Araby. I don't
Yeah.
remember that.
Yeah, it was the Sheik of Araby. And then the last one's The Last Dance You Saved for Me, of course. But they always started out with the Sheik of Araby.
Well, you were talking about catching Jimmy. You know, he signed a contract with the Brooklyn Dodgers for about $5,000 and
Yeah.
stuff. And he went up there. Something happened or other that he was supposed to be his turn to pitch, and he went out and he had a brand new set of spikes, but didn't wear them. Had these others, and the bottom came off. They have come out, and they sent him home.
Oh, geez. Oh,
Jim,
shoot.
well, both of us went up there. I went, the scout came down and saw one of our last games, and Jim knew he was there and he was so nervous. And I probably had the best day I ever had in my life. And I was digging them out of the dirt, and I threw out a couple of guys. I had a couple of hits, and the scout said, told the coach there, he says, yeah, you're gonna have Jim come up to Louisville. See, Louisville Colonels were their farm team.
Yeah.
And so I went up there with Jim to try out with the Brooklyn Dodgers. I lasted about a couple of days because I didn't have a big league arm to second base. And so I washed out quick. And then Jim he played for like Owensboro or someplace like that. But see, Jim never had a curveball. He could throw fast and he could throw out those high school guys. But when he got down there to the big boys, Jim did not have any. He just had a big fastball and they just beat him to death, really.
Yeah.
But I caught him for years and years. Yeah.
Hey, I was looking through some old deals and I come by something that was on the census of the 1930, and it had the businesses in the English listed on there. And it had the English Milling Company, Flour and Feeds, that they employed 2 people. And Roberts Granite Company, Monuments, of 1 person. And the Midwest Car Company, they hadn't made railroad and refrigerator cars, binders, slats, and card tabletops. There's 40 employed there.
Whoa.
And now your dad was employed there too. And then H.J. Tucker had a rough lumber deal, and he employed 10. And J.T. Woolham's had wagons and lumber at 12. And Lewis Shields had canned tomatoes as just seasonal. That was in the 1930 census of English.
How about that?
Vic and I know a little bit about the monument place over there, Roberts Monument, because on Saturday night late, we used to go over there with Monroe. We'd sit back here and have a talk a little bit. Remember that, Vic?
I don't remember that, Ron.
He can too, because he and Clyde Monroe held hands for a long while.
Yeah. We used to kind of after I used to take that preacher's daughter home. I'd run down. She thought I went on home. When I went down there, we would sit around down there at the monument there at night, shoot the bull.
Yeah.
Well, the first time that Vic ever stayed out all night, we were over at the monument shop with Mo, and here come Hess running in there, and he looked at Vic and he said, "I was just wondering where you were," and he turned around and went home.
Yeah. Hess is my dad, Jeremy.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was my 8th grade teacher.
Mine too.
Yeah. Woodson Newkirk was my 7th grade teacher, and he was in my mother's class in 1933.
Yeah. 1933.
Yeah.
Bob.
I think my sister was in that class.
Lena Nash. That was Lena Nash.
Yeah. And that's Helen Roberts was in there.
Yes. Mother was the last one alive. She lived to be 99, and she was the last one in the class. She said that about 6 months before that Woodson had died, and there's only 2 of them for a long time, and then she ended up being the last one.
Yeah.
That,
Bob, one of your working friends was up in Jeff Friday, 2 days ago, visiting the Jeffersonville Fire Museum. Kyle Wiseman. You know Kyle Wiseman, Bob? Bob Roberts.
yeah.
You know Kyle Wiseman, don't you?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah, he was chaperoning several girls that were up visiting the fire museum in Jeffersonville. I worked there on every Friday. I worked there. He was saying some bad things about you, but I won't repeat them right now.
Well, his daughter was runner-up for Miss Flame of the state of Indiana.
Was she?
The reason he was there, that Sasha was there, and she got runner-up in the deal for she was Miss Flame for the 18th district. And
Okay.
stuff. She also graduated from high school, and she has a scholarship going to University of Evansville. And she's a good golfer. She was quite a good athlete. So, and I imagine most of those girls were.
I'll bet so. Yeah.
You know, did you ever hear that poem that Bill Patton wrote about English in Crawford County? That the thing was that if you guys had a little time, I'd like to read it to you.
Yeah, please
That,
do.
he wrote like James Whitcomb Riley, and the name of the thing was Mighty Close to Heaven. He said, if you want to live near heaven, just as close as you can get, I'm persuaded yet to mind you, just in case you should forget, a place called Crawford County, resting snugly in the hills. You'll visit in the autumn and will completely fill the bill. Now, I ain't no hand at bragging. Of course, I might stretch the things a bit when I tell you here in Crawford, things are exactly right. I'd surely hate to prove it, so I'm asking each of you that to bring your wife and kiddies and come down a week or two. Hear the birds do their rehearsing as they learn their newest songs, and the stars way up in heaven linger longest after dawn. Here the wind is even tempered, and there's perfume in the shower, and the frost apologizes when it has to bite the flowers. Hear the trees upon the hilltops, reaching way up in the sky, croon a love song through the branches as they kiss the leaves goodbye. And the apples keep a falling, and they're falling now and then. Sort of seems like give us warning that it's time to take them in. And there's hickory nuts and walnuts hating to go to waste, and the popples fatting possums just to suit a feller's taste. And there's persimmons big as turnips, and there's pumpkin by the ton with their yaller bellies basking in the autumn sun. And the haystacks in the meadow look like overgrown elves, and the old muley and the heifers strut around and help themselves. And the old smokehouse is loaded till its sides are sticking out, and the pickled pork is soaking by the barrel of sauerkraut. And there's put away for winter fine preserves and jars of jam, and the rafters are creaking with the weight of country hams, while the good country sausage and the crispy crackling bread makes the feller want a tummy big as grandma's feather beds. So you'll have an invitation once you kindly think it over, for the latch string's always hanging just outside of the door. And we're waiting for to see you. Plan your visit for this fall, for you'll find a lot of welcome in this old Crawford County. It's a place that gave me birth, and it seems to be part of heaven that got sent down here on earth.
How about that?
Yeah, great poem, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Bill Patton.
Yeah.
Bill Patton, he wrote several. I have a book of his poems, if anybody'd like to borrow them sometimes.
You remember that book I sent you about Indiana? Remember that, Vic?
Are you telling me? Yes, I do. I still have it. Yes.
Yeah, I always thought that was interesting. Yeah. I found that thing. I think it was in Macon, Georgia, at a Cracker Barrel. In the book section there in the Cracker Barrel, they always have that. They have the gifts or all that stuff. And I found that now in time, and I got it and I read it and I sent it to Vic. I thought he might enjoy it. Yeah.
I had breakfast Wednesday with the English group, and it's this very small group, Bob, very small. Joe Tyler.
You and
Yeah.
Joe,
We started 20 years or so ago, and there was a big group of us.
is Harold Ray Miller, has he ever come to it, or is he back from Florida?
He did. He was coming to it regularly, and it's been about a year and a half ago. About the time the pandemic hit, he stopped coming. Nobody has his phone number. I don't know how to get a hold of him.
Yeah,
But
he
he
lived
was-
above the honky tonk, if I remember correctly.
Joe Tyler did, yeah.
Yeah, he was in my first car wreck with me when I wrecked it. I clipped off that telephone pole with my dad's car. Yeah.
I got a guy said, say hello to you, Ron Kissel.
Who's that?
Stuff was Jim Enlow. I played golf with him Thursday.
Jim Enlow, I think in my class.
Yeah, he was in your class, wasn't he?
Yeah, well, his brother, his cousin, Carol Enlow, he got killed. He fell asleep. He fell over a hill and it killed him. That was about a year after we graduated. He was working in Indianapolis and he was engaged to Loretta Smith, who worked in the bank there, right? I think she still works in the bank. I don't know. Anyway, a week before they got married, he got killed over there. That was his cousin. We both were in the same class.
Yeah.
In fact, my cousin Marilyn Cox, Marilyn Enlow, is married to his little younger brother. A little bit of English facts there for you.
I might say something about families. We had a great grandson born Tuesday.
Well,
Congratulations.
Yeah,
about that, yes.
yeah, I got,
Eli Michael Penaranda.
yeah, I've got a couple of great grandsons, and they're the first boys since me and my family. We're kind of the bookends, I guess. Yeah, they're a lot of fun. I can tell you that.
Well, we have 5 grandsons, no granddaughters.
Yeah, well,
Well-
I have 2 daughters and a granddaughter, and no grandsons or sons. And then they got those 2 grandsons, great grandsons now.
Oh, one other thing, family thing. It was mentioned about Bill Boss some way or other. His wife, Phoebe Boss,
Yeah,
she was my first cousin.
Is that right?
he owned a farm outside of town, right?
Yeah.
That's where the golf course is now.
Yeah, I know. I scooped many a load of corn for him out there. I used to work there in the summertime, scooping corn and baling hay and stuff like that. Yeah, I scooped many a wagon load of corn when I was about 17. He was big in the bank, he owned a lot of the bank, English State Bank.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he had the drugstore there and everything. And
Yeah,
he put quite a bit of time in the Army in World War II.
yeah. Mhm. I just tell him, Vic, I spent 33 years in the Navy.
Yeah, and Bill didn't mind paying $2,000 for a coon dog either.
No.
He had the money, I can tell you that.
Oh, yeah.
He was a great guy. I enjoyed working for him. I mean, as long as you worked, fine.
And
$1 an hour, that's what he paid.
That wasn't bad.
Yeah, hey, gave me money to buy a quarter tank of gasoline and get into an English dance.
Yeah.
Cigarettes, of course.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Well, they used to, that when they'd have a fire someplace, a field fire or forest fire, they couldn't put out, they'd come at school up there and get us kids out there to go out on it. They paid us 10 cents an hour.
Yeah, I remember that, and I was on that. And they used to come up. The guy lived in Eckerty that ran that thing, and he would come up and give us instructions. And then I was part of that, and they gave us a little button that said firefighter, forest firefighter, Indiana. I still got that old button somewhere.
Oh.
But yeah, I was out there. In fact, Mike Megenity and I. Mike and I were on a team together. We were setting the backfires for them, whatever. That was our job, was go around after the bulldozer go through. We'd set the backfires, try to stop it. That's what Mike and I did.
Yeah, you know, I've been on the English Fire Department since 1950.
Really?
And when we first started, we got paid $10 a year. And we would just sign the check and give it back to the fire department.
Yeah.
There was
My
never
dad
a
did-
fireman that ever cashed that check.
I think my dad was there for maybe a year or so. He didn't spend much time. I remember though, every time the siren went off, because Dad had the furniture factory down there, you know, they worried about that thing. So it was nothing but a big, you know, kindling place anyway. And Bertie Austin, she's the one that rang it. And then just as soon as she did, she'd call Dad and said, "It's not the factory."
Yeah, she was a sight, you know. You'd call down there and want somebody to say, I'd like to speak to Eloise Eastridge. Oh, she's up at Howard's playing cards. I'll switch you up there. She knew everything that happened in English.
One time I used to, and I was in the Navy, that's about 1956. I was in Norfolk and I wanted to call home. You had to call collect. And I was calling home on a Sunday. You have to wait in line. It'd take about an hour to connect you. And I was calling and said, it's a Ron Kissel asking for Ray Kissel. And Bertie Austin told that operator, she says, "Well, they're not home." She says, "They're over the JC store. I just saw them go in. I'll punch them in. I'll plug them in over there." So I took them to jail. That woman looked at me like I was crazy. And another time I went bought a car in my small towns. I bought a car in Philadelphia, a 64 Chevy Super Sport. And I think it was like $2,400 back then. And well, I wrote a check for it off of the English State Bank, and we're in Philadelphia. And the guy said, "We'll have to call the bank to check on this check." And I said, "Go ahead." And so they called up. I said, "What's the phone number? You know?" And I said, "Yeah, it's 2." He said, "What? Yeah, the phone number is 2. The exchange is 1. Thanks 2." And you know, and so they said they called up and said, "Yeah, and have number 2." They plugged them in. And says, Urban Fire answered the phone, and they said, "This is so and so at a car dealership in Philadelphia. I have a check here written by Ronald Kissel, and I wonder if you check and see if it's any good." He said, "It's good. Go ahead and cash it." And they said, "Well, what's your position in the bank?" "Well, I'm the president." Well, that really impressed him. And then, yeah, him and 2 other people work in the bank, you know. But you go to a big town like that, and they do it. It's amazing what they think of little towns. Yeah.
It sets it back a couple steps.
Yeah, it does. It's funny. Yeah, phone 2.
Oh, yeah.
Well, the Bertie Austin was my dad's first cousin. And we moved to English in 1944. Dad went in the service, and we didn't have a phone at home. So he would call, you know, the switchboard, Bertie, and send Jim up to get Mom to talk.
Yeah, she knew every number. I mean, you didn't have to say, I want to talk to Vic Megenity," and she just plug you in. She slept out there on a cot, you know.
Yeah. You know, in those fires back there, you used to break that little window in the firehouse and open up and grab the phone, and she'd tell you where the fire was.
Yep. Yeah. She's the one that operated the siren. Yeah.
Yeah, she clicked the siren off.
Yeah.
Bob, whatever happened to that siren that was on top of the bank?
I have no idea. I think it stayed up there till they tore the buildings down, and I don't know what happens. That plug-in was there on the post yet that you used to, where you could walk up and hit it and activate the siren.
Yep.
But I don't know that it stayed up there until they tore the buildings down.
Yeah.
Did you know? I remember when I left, they put up the Christmas lights across Main Street down there, and they just left them up all year. They didn't turn them on when it was Christmas time. They'd go up there and change the bulbs. They weren't bad, but you know, the Christmas tree lights were on the run down that pole on the Main Street for forever, I guess.
Yeah, and you used to go down there at Novi Gobbles and get you a sack of candy.
Yeah.
And an orange.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
And you know, I appreciate Novi because during World War II, you let him cut down his iron fence all the way around his property for the war effort. Remember that iron fence, Bob?
Oh, I remember it. Yes,
Yeah.
very well.
Yeah. Well, you know, we had a cannon. We had an old cannon down there by the statue of English.
Yeah.
And it was a World War I cannon. They came down and got that, made it scrap, and they promised to bring another one. And then I think around after the Korean War, they did bring another one down, a more modern one. But we had an
Yeah,
old cannon.
my brother Clyde got that to come in there.
Did
We
he?
took it off. We took it off a flat car and took it down there. And now it's up to Dale Rose. He's going to finish it, and they're going to put it up there by the Veterans Deal in the new town.
How about that?
Okay, good. Yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Wonder what the age of that cannon is, Bob.
I have no idea.
I think it's a World War I.
World
Yeah,
War
I
I?
think so too.
Yeah.
The one before that was, I think it was a Civil War cannon. One they took and the one they took and melted down. Yeah. I can
No,
remember
I believe it was later than that. I believe that was probably a World War I. I don't think they had cannons like that back in the Civil War.
I
know we used to play on that thing down there and everything.
Yeah. I've been
Had pictures taken on it.
Yeah, it was right there by William H. English.
Yeah, William H. English.
Bob, at one time there was a move to move Old Man English up, either up in the new town someplace.
I'm still working on that.
Are you really?
Yeah,
You know,
I
that
haven't given up on it yet.
makes sense. That makes sense.
I keep bringing it up. I'm the only one around here, I think, that cares about that. But I'd
Yeah.
like to
Bob,
be
who
up
was
there
your
where
dad?
people
Who
can
was
see
your
it.
dad? Bob, who was your dad?
Pardon?
Who was your father? Who was your dad?
Alson Roberts. He was Clyde Roberts's father. He was a grandfather to Clyde Monroe Roberts.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But Clyde was my half brother.
Oh, okay.
That we was kind of a mixed up family. That ours and yours and
Yeah.
things. That six half brothers on one side and Gerald Smith a half brother on the other and a half sister and two sisters.
Yeah. What was Sandra Roberts's dad's name? I can remember that.
Glenn. The Squint was his nickname.
Squint,
Squint.
yeah, he used to drive that lime truck and for
Yeah.
the farmers. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, he had
Yeah, she married a Springer.
all their family is gone now and stuff.
Yeah.
Evelyn Roberts was the youngest one.
How about Marilyn Roberts? Is she still alive or
Who's that?
Marilyn Roberts?
No, she died about 3 or 4 years ago. She was married to Bud Joe Eastridge,
Yeah, I
and
know.
both of them are dead.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. What did Bud Joe do anyway?
He was a salesman.
Oh, okay.
I'll tell you what, he went to IU up there, and he went out for the basketball team, and he made the team, and they wouldn't give him a scholarship. So he went out in eastern New Mexico and played for a couple years on a scholarship, and then he came back to IU and he graduated there, but he didn't play basketball for them anymore.
Yeah.
But he was an excellent
He was.
basketball.
He's a good player.
Oh, yeah. I remember him. I think he was about 3 years ahead of me. What year did you graduate, Vic?
52.
52. Okay. Yeah.
I think Bud was what, 50 or 51, I think.
Yeah, Bud graduated in 51.
I've graduated in 55. Yeah. We were the first one to graduate in the new gym.
Boy.
Yeah. Our class, well, we didn't go to school there, but they started the next year. But we were the first class that actually went in the gym and had the ceremony. Yeah.
I want to ask Bob Roberts, what's the latest on that school building in English, Bob?
I have no idea. That I was trying to get their middle school moved back. They had at Marengo, and they didn't have any playground or any facilities or anything else like they did up in English. But they said, oh, there's mold in there, but they could clean up mold, and they didn't, play. And then they moved the grade school down to Tazewell. Well, they have a mound system down there, and a couple of their pumps gave out this last year. And English has sewage and a big playground, a track deal and everything, and they don't even think about moving. I keep working on all those things, Vic, but it
I
doesn't.
appreciate it, Bob. I appreciate it.
Doesn't do any good.
Yeah. I've got a brick out of that old schoolhouse that we went to. They sold the bricks for
This
five.
schoolhouse is the
All
one
right.
you're
They
talking
sold the
about?
bricks for $5.
Ron, look at, show it again, Jeremy.
Vic, this looks familiar to you, doesn't it?
Does look familiar.
Yeah, that swing thing down there, my God, I've spent many hours as a kid on that because I only lived across the street, you know.
Can't
Oh, yeah,
quite,
every once in a while, some kid would fall off and get a little cut on his head or something on that.
Okay.
swing.
Yeah.
Help me out. What
Is this
is-
writing backwards or is it the right way?
I can't
Well, let
quite
me tell
read
you
it.
something. Let me tell you something. Can you imagine them letting a kid play on that nowadays? They have to have helmets and everything else and knee
This is
pads.
this is what you're talking about?
Yeah,
Yeah, that one, yeah.
It,
Yeah.
it was the swing, huh?
I
You
have,
swing that thing and bang against the thing.
yeah, Jeremy, I have the original of that. A lady out in Kansas that my sister Sherry knew real well, I sent her a photo and she got the original. I made several copies of it.
Well, yeah, this was the one that you gave to Donnie.
Yeah,
Oh, I gave that one to Donnie, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
And you gave one to my granddad too.
Hey,
that doesn't
I have
that-
one of them.
you have
that
one
fire
of
slide. Remember that fire slide that they had? It went out of the second. That doesn't show that on there. See,
What,
it'd be on the,
the two from the second floor. Yeah.
yeah.
didn't Derby Smith get the bricks out of that and build his daughter Karen that house up there?
I don't know that.
I didn't know that. I know I paid $5 for those.
It seems to me that that happened. I'm not for sure.
Yeah, they
I
were
remember
selling
those-
they were selling the bricks for $5 for some I don't know what for, but anyway, I wasted $5 and bought one. I don't even know where the dang brick is now.
Remember those posts that went down the walkway on the east side of the school and you'd slide down them?
Oh yeah, sure.
Every once in a while, a kid would fall off backwards and crack his head.
I cracked my head. Nobody
Remember
sewed
they
my
had-
head up.
Remember the teeter-totters they had over there? The
Oh,
seashell?
yeah.
Yeah,
you could
Carlene
jump.
Kimball, when I was in the first grade, Carlene Kimball, I tell you, I was in love with that little girl. She fell off and broke her arm on that thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, they
Yeah.
used to bounce it down. You could bounce the guy that was up in the air about a foot, I think.
Yeah, like I said, they wouldn't let kids play on that today. It's too
I
dangerous.
know.
They need to get outside and eat some dirt like we did, you know. Ride their bicycles all over town or something, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, eat some dirt. You'll live to be as old as we will.
They used to have Whitey Adkins used to.
You know,
ride the
my
bike.
Uncle John had
Pardon?
sorry, Bob, go ahead.
No. I said, they built a ramp down to park where the path went downhill and it was in there and you get back and get a big run and you went off the end of it. You had to pull up on the handlebars. And if you didn't, you just went end over end.
I
There
know.
were more bikes that had their frames bent and everything else.
I was going to say about eating dirt and longevity. My Uncle John had wondered through the years of working in the printing office, he and my granddad Mike both, you know, they would melt down the slugs and that was of course lead. And
Yeah.
he wondered about them inhaling these lead fumes and, you know, both of them are tip top shape. I mean,
Yeah.
all things considered. So it's
Yeah,
kind
they
of
call
curious.
it linotype metal. They didn't call it. And what he would do, they had a little mold of toy soldiers and they would pour some of that toy soldiers and sell them for a dime at school.
Is
Ask
that
him about
right?
that.
I will do that.
Yeah, they used to pour, it was a mold they had, like I said, little different soldiers, you know, about that high, not much. They'd sell them for a dime there at the school. Ask me about that entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
Well, you know, they used to have down where the car shop was, where they made the cars and things, they punched out a deal that was about round as a nickel and about, a quarter of an inch thick. And we'd take them, put them in the slingshot and have it back. And you could shoot through a piece of tin with those doggone things.
Oh, yeah. I used to use ball bearings.
Yeah. But you made the slingshots too, that take a tongue out of your shoe
Yep.
Yep.
and
You go
stuff and get you a good fork, good hickory fork someplace.
well, and you
And
go
a
down to
car, car inner tube.
yeah, well, you go down to the on the garages and they give you an old inner tube.
Yeah. Oh, they were good rubber too.
Yeah, that's right. Well, my dad one time at the furniture factory, you know, one Saturday he went down there and he made about 1,000 rubber guns, you know, wooden rubber guns, and
Yeah.
took them up and put them in the barber shop there, and they give them away to anybody wanted. The kids would all get them there for a long while. People would run around, all those kids run around town shooting each other with those rubber guns. You know, they look just like guns almost. Yeah, I mean,
Oh, yeah, we always had battles with them.
yeah, I bet he made 1,000 of those things. He
You made a
also
lot of kids happy.
he made the paddle for the school for the superintendent too, and it was a beautiful thing. I mean, he did everything with it, and then he drilled holes in it so it make it go swifter, boy.
Oh,
Ron, is this the English furniture company you're talking about?
Yeah, my dad was superintendent there for years until it folded up. Yeah, before the war, he was the superintendent of we call it the chair factory, I think. And during the Second World War, when that started, of course, everybody went to war and they closed it down. And then he worked for DuPont during the war making powder. And then they came back and a guy named Alan Huntingberg bought it and came and got him to start it up again. And I guess he was there like 20, 25 years.
Yeah, Smith's bought it. And finally they moved it to Marengo, and then they moved it Marengo to New Salisbury. And their boy, Callie, just died this last week. He was about the same age. He's about a year or a month younger than me, and he just passed away.
Yeah. How old are you now?
Pardon?
How old are you now?
93.
93, I guess. I knew you was a little older, yeah.
Yeah, he used to come toddling down there off that hill when we were playing ball down there in the thing. You'd come down, run around and everything and stuff. We'd say, "Don't get hit, don't get hit. Stay out of there, Ronnie." He just kind of laughed at us.
Yeah,
that furniture factory finally burned down, didn't it, Bob?
Yeah,
yeah. Well, my dad always worried.
we were down there on it. It just burned and burned. I think we spent all night out there, and I forget how many thousands of gallons of water we poured where that paint had spilled and everything else.
The rumor was that was
when my
probably
dad.
arson.
Yeah,
You think
I
it was
saw
arson, Bob?
Yeah,
Well,
they
you know, they can't.
called that Jewish insurance, didn't they?
I have no idea, but they didn't spend any money cleaning it up, and they still can't use that land because they never did clean it up.
That was Dad's biggest fear because, you know, so many of the people there in town around the county worked there and they'd all lost their jobs, you know.
Yeah.
And that was my dad's biggest fear was that furniture factory burning down.
I don't know if you guys are going to be able to see this very well, but I'm going to share my screen and hope that you can. And this is an image of, or partially anyway, if I can zoom in, not the bed, not the bed, but the nightstand. Can you make out this nightstand here at all?
I can see part of it.
Yeah.
That was made in the English furniture factory.
How about that? Yeah, they made duck and fife tables, dining tables. They made desks and all kinds of stuff. Yeah.
I don't know if it was actually made as a nightstand. I assume that's what it was, but it says on the back of it, the English Furniture Factory or company, and I think there's a date on it. My great aunt Diane had that, and I don't know where she got it from, but it's now sitting in the Proctor House in Marengo. So
yeah. I told you, I think last week that I took Diane to the junior prom. I told you that last week. Is she still alive?
No, she passed away. Probably I'd say 7 years ago, but I'm not good with time. It could have even been longer than that.
Yeah. Well, she was smart. She was one of the smartest kids in our class. Did she go to college?
She did.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Was she a teacher or what?
yeah, she was a teacher. Mhm.
Okay. Sweet young girl, sweet young girl. It's a big family.
Well, there's seven, yeah, seven siblings, including Diane. Yeah.
Yeah. I was trying to think one of the older ones. What was one of the older boys' names?
Well, it was John, Mike, Diane, Pat, Tim, Kathy, Mark.
No, John. John, I knew John real well. Yeah.
He was the senior of the bunch.
Yeah. Oh well, old memories, huh? Well, sure. I'm glad you guys forced me to get on here because I sure enjoyed the last couple of weeks.
Hey, you can thank me for that, Ron.
Guy,
'Cause
good.
I saw you on Facebook, and I thought you'd probably enjoy that because
Oh, my, yes.
you always participated in everything that went on in the county or in the town.
Yeah, I've had my time into town. Yeah, I tell you what, I look back, I enjoyed the 50s. We're lucky to grow up in the 50s. If we knew just how good it was, we could have enjoyed it even more. Nobody ever locked their doors. Nobody took the keys out of their cars.
I've always been very thankful for growing up in English, Indiana. Everybody knew me. That was good news, bad news.
Well, yeah.
But it was a wonderful town to grow up in. Everybody would help you out. I remember falling and skinning my knee out in front of Mail Grocery, and Miss Daly saw me and she ran over and washed my knee off and put a little bandage on it. That's the way people were in English.
Yeah.
They were really good people.
There's 849. That's what the sign said coming in out of Needmore Hill out there. It said English 849. And I used to tell them, I says, the reason it never changes is because every time some lady had a baby, some man left town.
Oh, do you remember? You remember Novi Gobble?
Oh, sure, Doc Gobble. Yeah, Pooch, they call him Pooch Gobble.
Yeah, Pooch Gobble.
Yeah, he used to be
Bring out that.
$2 a visit.
Oh yeah, I know. One time that Bob Denton and I was jumping off of a walk bridge down there, and I got hooked up on a hip that kind of tore a place. And I figured, well, I have probably go to the doctor. And I went home, and Dad and Mom took me down there. I walked in there, and I said, "Novi, you're not going to sew that up?" Or no, he said. And I looked up, and here come Brother Clyde and Glenn Roberts in there, and I saw Pooch kind of nodded his head, and they grabbed me.
Yeah.
My older brothers taught me really how to cuss. I mean, I could really let. I was laying him down. My mother was in there. She went out to his office, and she could chill her, and she went out to the waiting room, and she finally ended up all the way out in the porch. But they helped me, and Novi got the job done.
Well, one time, they lived, that real sharp corner there going up East Main Street before you get to the school. In fact, he put a barrier out there so they wouldn't run into his house. What was that guy's name that lived there? The old man, I can't remember. Anyway, he had watermelons over there across the Little Blue there across the creek, right? The big watermelon patch. And I don't know. I don't think any of you were in on it that night. But anyway, he had a shotgun with rock salt in it, and I got 2 of those in my butt. I'm telling you right now, and we went over there to Doc Gobble. It was about 9 o'clock at night, dark. In the back door there, and Mrs. Gobble, she came up and says, "I got shot." And he says, "What?" He said, "Come in here." And he pulled out those pieces of rock salt out of my butt. He says, "Where did you get that?" And I told him. He says, "Well, you got any watermelons left out there?" And I said, "Well, yeah, we do." And he says, "Well, bring a couple of them on the porch and we'll see you later." Today shotgun would have to report it to the police and all that stuff. You didn't do that stuff back then. Boy, does that stuff burn, because after it just goes in just a little bit, penetrates just enough, it starts melting. And boy, does that hurt. Yeah. Well, that was my experience with Doc Gobble. Cost me 2 watermelons.
Oh, yeah. Well, there's a lot of watermelon patches that was raided.
My dad told me, he says, I know you're going to steal watermelons. Oh, no, Dad, not me. Oh, don't give me that crap. He said, I know you're going to steal them. But if I ever hear you tearing up a man's vines, then that's when you're going to get trouble, because that's his life. A couple of watermelons he's not going to miss. But you tear up those vines, you're going to kill a lot of watermelons. And I don't want to ever see you doing that. Oh, no, I wouldn't do that. I don't.
You know, I heard a story, and I don't know whether it's true or not, but some kid went in this watermelon patch and he was trying to find a ripe one, and he had plugged them. And I forget how many watermelons he had plugged. And when he did, he just turned them down.
Oh,
He
shoot.
couldn't see it, and they all rotted.
You know,
Did you ever hear that story?
I think it was Torrance Allen. He had one out there and he put a sign up. It said, one of these watermelons are filled with poison. And the next one day he went out there and it says, now there are 2 watermelons filled up with poison.
Bobby Mason, didn't you ever get in trouble when you were around English?
I was
Didn't you ever get in trouble?
another generation behind these guys, I think.
Well,
We
they were
never- we never
generation
got in
behind me
trouble.
almost.
We never got in trouble. We never went to jail.
That's
Oh,
right.
Well, our group started, and it's what had that siren up there for everybody had to get off the streets at 7 o'clock, and we caused that. And we kind of got a rough end of a deal and where it come out and stuff. But
You know, we really didn't do anything all that bad. It just mischievous stuff. We didn't steal nothing. You know,
that's the way with us. We fight a little bit.
I don't remember any of us ever stealing anything or really damaging anything real bad. We did a lot of pranks and made a lot of noise and crazy. Like one time, Vic and I, when he had that 54 red and white Chevy hardtop, on Saturday, everybody came to English on Saturday, you know, a place to full do their shopping. Vic and I went down to Main Street there, and I was sitting in the back seat, leaning over, steering it, and he's on the floor working the pedals. We were right through English, right in the middle of all when everybody was out there and they're looking at us. And I'm sitting out there in the back seat steering, and he's down there. I'm going, brake, brake, gas, brake, brake.
Yeah. Oh, boy.
Yeah.
Well, you talk about the population of English in the 800s, and as I understand it now in the county, the greatest concentration, there are no concentrations of population in the towns anymore. The population of the county is just spread out, and there's just as many people out on a lot of land as there are in the town centers.
Well, I think there's only about, I've got an almanac over here. I can look it up. I think the population in Crawford County is about what, 7,000-8,000 in the whole county.
It's under 10, I believe. I'm not sure
It's
how.
about 7 or 8. Last time I saw it, I think it was about 7 or 8. Well, you know, there's 4 towns. We had 4 high schools, and there's 4 towns, and English was the biggest one. We had more people in English. They only had 849.
Yeah.
And
I remember when they had 967, and I thought, well, the next one will get 1,000, but it never happened.
You know, or did it go up to 900? I guess those guys didn't leave town after all. Huh?
Well, after World War II, the guys all came back and there wasn't anything there for them.
Yeah.
That's
They
right.
moved away.
Furniture factory is about the only thing. I think Merle Stevenson, I think he worked there after he came back.
He did. He did.
Yeah, he was he and Vic came to my mother's funeral, and he passed away, didn't he?
He
Yeah,
did.
just a few months ago.
Yeah, just a year or so ago, he passed away.
Yeah, I remember when he came back out of the army, he bought a brand new Ford, and we ride around that brand new Ford, and he used to say, "You got to break them in fast, and they'll be fast." And I won't forget that.
Yeah, he used to
I
see
think
him all
he
every time
wrecked
he
that- I
came.
think
He
he
came
wrecked
to
that
the
Ford. I think he wrecked it. I'm not sure.
Bumped into Lowell Parks's wife just the other day in Clarksville. She gave me an update on Lowell.
Okay.
several months ago, I knew he had, I always have trouble pronouncing it. The artery cleared out. Somebody pronounce it. Carotid, no.
Carotid,
Carotid.
carotid artery.
Carotid artery,
The
okay.
carotid artery, and that
Yeah.
cleaned out. She said he's doing pretty good, but that slowed him down a lot, and he's not driving very much. So he hadn't made our breakfast for about a year now. So that we did get an update that he's okay, but he's slowed down a lot.
I'll
Yeah,
tell
we-
you what, he was over at Beltone at Cardin. I was in there to get my hearing aids worked on. He was in there and he came by and I spoke to Lowell. And he just acted like he didn't recognize me when he hit out.
Who was his younger brother? What was his name? The younger brother.
Pesky.
Yeah, Pesky's what.
Pesky was his nickname.
Yeah, he was fast. He was one of the fastest guys in the. I remember how fast he was. Yeah, running. Yeah, they
Yeah,
called
his
him
mother-
Pesky.
His mother, when he was a baby, left him in a dress and curled his hair, had long curls and stuff.
Yeah, B
Until
Parks.
he was about started to school.
Yeah, well, B Parks was his mother, you know.
Yeah.
B lived up very close to us after they got divorced, you know. And she used to live out there by number 10 schoolhouse. You know, remember where that is, yeah.
Bobby Mason, do you ever have any contact with the Parkses down at Corden?
Not recently.
Yeah.
But I would try to make connection with Pesky.
Well, before
I think
we-
one of the things you were all talking about, Novi Gobble's fence, Lowell was walking, as a kid, was walking on it and fell and split himself on the spikes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was over there by the creek. It's where
That
the
was
old Joe Finch house was.
Over by the Daly house, Jim Daly house.
Yeah, Daly's.
Yeah,
lived
that's
there.
where that happened.
Joe Finch built that.
Yeah.
And stuff.
You
You know
what,
where you know where that house is today, don't you, Bob?
Yeah, just after you cross the main street there and stuff is that house down below there
Yeah,
Bunk used to have a store there next to it.
That's right. But you know where you know that house is still in existence. You know that, don't you?
Yeah, they moved it down to Ferdinand. I've got the picture in the paper of that thing.
That's right. They cut it in two pieces, didn't they? In half.
Oh, yeah, and they had to have the state police in
That's right.
Indiana to taking it down there.
Jeremy, it was a Queen Anne house, and it really had a lot of nice features. And they were going to bulldoze it, tear it down. So a family from Ferdinand, Indiana, cut it in two, took it down there and put it back together. And I've never seen it down there, but I hear it's really beautiful.
And you know, they had a big concrete slab there. It had J.W. Finch. And I asked the lady who had that, and she said, yeah, go ahead and take it if you cut down that fence for me. And I did. And I dug that up and gave it to Bud Joe Eastridge, and he had it down by his house in Evansville. And I don't know whether it's both of them are gone now. And I don't know whether they're still there or not.
Now,
you all remember that Corden, you know, was the first capital of Indiana, and they have that old constitutional elm on it. They cut it, finally had to cut it down. Right? My mother, they made gavels out of it, like a judge uses.
Oh,
My mother got one of those, and I've got one of those. They made that out of that tree there. I don't know if you all ever saw those or not.
yeah, that's. Right,
I got a story about Corden and the kids. I wasn't a part of it, but you know, the grade school was there across from the Treasury building now. And that when my generation was in grade school there, I think it was 1949, there was a fire down there on the corner of Walnut and Capitol Boulevard that two saloons of bars were involved, and there was alcohol. After the fire, they had some kind of government guys that were supposed to be guarding it. Anyways, some of the kids in my class got in and stole it, some of that alcohol, and put it up there across the street from the grade school. And afternoon recess, they go across and have a couple of nips. Well, they got down to the last container that they had, and it turned out to be full of tomato ketchup.
Well, gentlemen, before we sign off here, because we're coming up on the hour, I just want, looking at the calendar, the second Sunday of next month, that's July already, is July 11th. So that's the next time we're going to do this thing.
Okie dokie. Well, we sure appreciate you getting it taken care of it. That's
Thanks,
for sure.
Jeremy, for
Hey, thank you.
facilitating.
I gotta
Good
figure out,
story.
I gotta figure out how to turn this thing off. She's left. I don't know what to do.
Yeah, Ron, it was good talking to you again.
Good advice seeing
Yeah.
you guys too. Yeah.
Okay.
Good
Well, I
to
guess
see
we'll
you
see you
guys.
in a month. If we're
When
all
I-
still here.
Take care, everybody.
When I end this, it should end it for everybody, so you shouldn't have to do anything.
Okay,
Yeah,
you're
well,
gonna
we're
take
kinda
care of
short.
it. Huh? Okay,
Okay.
thank
Yeah,
you
we're
very
shorthanded
much.
today.
We
We're
are.
shorthanded today. We didn't get a couple of them on there that usually have it.
Yeah.
You all made up for it with your.
And
with your
John said
story.
he had company, didn't he? John had company.
You know, I had to get my daughter to get me on it, and I said, "Well, you go ahead and leave." You know, I'll figure out how to get it off. But I didn't know how to get it off.
Yeah, that's okay. I have God powers as the host. I can click on this button here, end meeting for all. So I'm gonna
Okay.
do it. 1, 2, 3.